Good morning, everyone. So today we're going to be reviewing RL 5.3. Our objectives today is to students will be able to compare and contrast two different settings in a text. Students will be able to understand how settings and characters and actions differ and impact the story. Some of our academic vocabulary, words I want you to start thinking of when we read, is settings. What is settings? Where and when a story takes place. So I want you guys thinking about that. What words do I want you to think of while we're reading? Time, place, and environment. Right? That's where settings take place. Some more vocabulary. We're going to compare and contrast. We got to start thinking of these things while we read. Identifying the similarities and difference between two or more people, places, or things. So what are we thinking? Here are a few things to kind of break it down. Examples. Compare the same, different. We got events, settings, characters. Here are a few examples of how we can plan our essay, okay? What we're reading, what we're comparing. This is kind of a bubble map, okay? And then another one, it's a Venn diagram. Different ways of putting our information in. Okay? So now, I will begin reading. The book I'm going to be reading is A Spoon for Every Bite. Okay, so I just want you guys to pay attention and listen up. A long time ago, there was a poor couple who lived in a small, tumble-down house. They were so poor that they owned only two spoons, one for the husband and one for his wife. Their neighbor, on the other hand, was very rich. His house was big and elegant, filled with fine furniture. He was very proud of his wealth and his possessions, and he lived in an extravagant way. Remember, guys, pay attention. We're recording, so make sure you guys are doing what you're supposed to be doing. One year, the poor couple had a baby, and when it was time to baptize the child, the wife said to her husband, "Why don't we ask our neighbor to be the godfather to our baby?" "But he is rich. We are poor," the man protested. "Why would he want to be our compadre?" "You never know," said the wife. "He might accept. Maybe somehow it will change our luck." So the poor man asked their rich neighbor to be their child's godfather, and the rich man accepted. They took the baby to the church to be baptized, and the neighbors became compadres. The poor couple watched their baby grow rounder and more rosy cheeked with each passing week, and their hearts swelled with feelings of abundance. One day the poor woman said to her husband, "Now that our neighbor is our compadre, I think we should invite him to supper with us this evening." But the man asked, "How can we do that? We only have two spoons." So they didn't invite the rich man for supper that day. Instead, they began to save their pennies until the last day they could afford to buy a dirt spoon. Then the poor man went to the rich man's house and invited his compadre to come for dinner. The poor woman made a very tasty soup. And when the two men arrived, she sat the rich man at the place with the shiny new spoon. "This is your place, compadre," she said. "You get to use our dirt spoon. We just bought it today." The rich man could scarcely believe what he heard. "Do you mean to say you only own 3 spoons?" he asked. "Oh yes," the poor man told his compadre. "Until this morning, we only had 2 spoons. But we bought a new one today so that you can join us for dinner." The rich man couldn't contain himself. He laughed out loud. "You had only 2 spoons, and you bought a new one for me to eat with? Why?" he boasted. "I have so many spoons in my house, I could use a different one each day of the year if I wished to." The poor man was embarrassed and annoyed by his compadre's boastfulness. The poor woman spoke right up and replied, "Oh, that's nothing, compadre," she said. "We have a friend in these parts who uses a different spoon for every bite he eats. He never uses the same spoon twice." The rich man waved his hand in disbelief. But the poor man gave his wife a knowing wink and swore that it was true. "My wife is telling the truth, compadre," he said. "Our friend uses a different spoon for every single bite he eats." The rich man was so upset by the idea that someone lived even more lavishly than he did that he could hardly eat his soup. That night, he lay awake thinking about it. The next day, the rich man's servant came running to the poor man's house. "What did you give my master to eat last night?" he demanded. The poor man shrugged.